Hey guys, welcome to 2 Minute Warning. I'm Blake Showalter.
And I'm Beto Vacadillas.
And if you can't tell, this is our Halloween episode and special guest today. I can even tell who it is, Beto.
I don't know.
Spider-Man, you want to take out the mask real quick? We got Branson on the show today. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. We just did an episode earlier just now. I should probably take this off too so you can maybe take me a little bit seriously. Oh my God, it's me. I'm Batman. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
But we just did an episode earlier. That was our game time episode with Dylan, so that'll be out probably in the following week or two. Keep you all updated on that. But starting off, Dylan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Had a good day of practice and weights, Got after it a little bit with the guys, getting ready for our exhibition on Saturday. We got a closed scrimmage in Columbia at Mizzou versus Omaha, Nebraska. So that's the next thing coming up for us. So we're preparing, getting ready.
Gotcha, man. And speaking of Mizzou, I think that was my first time last year kind of noticing we had a team. I mean, obviously we lost Mizzou last year, but it was kind of close going up to that last seconds of that last half. But it looked really good there, and then obviously going on to have an excellent year, obviously like that. And just recapping on that year, first time going to March Madness in 23 years for SEMO, and obviously a great year for you personally, great year as a team. But just looking back on that, how does that feel?
Man, it was a great feeling. Getting here as a freshman, I think we finished 12th the year before I got here. We were picked to finish 12th my first year, I know for sure. Picked to finish 12th, we finished 7th. The next year, picked to finish 7th, we finished 4th. Last year, picked to finish 4th, and we finished 1st.
There you go.
So I feel like we've always kind of exceeded expectations, and now we've got some expectations coming up. We're going to be expected to be better than we were. The OVC preseason stuff came out, and I think they kind of threw some shade at us a little bit. Nobody on the OVC preseason all-team, and we were picked 5th. So, I think we just got to use that as fuel for the fire and prove them wrong.
Absolutely. And then just looking at their side of things, losing guys like Chris Harris, also losing Phil, of course, huge for our team last year. But a lot of guys don't know about the new transfers coming in. Do you mind sharing a little bit about them and what you think they're going to bring to the team this year?
Right, and I think losing people to the transfer portal is nothing new for SEMO. It's nothing odd in college basketball. A lot of schools go through where we have 11 guys transfer crazy. Some schools lose a whole team. So it can be kind of crazy in the transfer portal, and I'm really looking forward to some of our new guys like Rob, Braxton Stacker, TJ Beal. We really got some guys out of the transfer portal that came in with the right mindset. They've been working hard, and I think they're really good players, and that's going to show throughout the season.
Absolutely, and having our athletic director, Brady Barkey, on last year, we talked to him about what's the goal about making SEMO not a final destination spot, really, but maybe like a stop to a bigger school or a proving ground for a bigger school. Just creating a culture where people are going to want to stay here. And I think we brought up schools like Butler or Gonzaga, where are not really big schools as far as other sports goes, but basketball, they're huge, and guys strive to go there. So I don't know, just personally, you feeling out that culture and seeing where we are as a team, do you think we're on our way there?
Definitely. I think Coach Korn has really made strides in this. He's really building something here. I give him credit. And when he has guys like myself, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but I feel like I've been committed to SEMO. I've definitely I wanted to be here. I was the guy, I actually made the call to him to come here. It was an interesting relationship we had when he was recruiting me because he was recruiting my brother at Kansas State, actually. And my brother signed to Kansas State and was getting ready to go play over there, and he got the job at SEMO. And the previous coaching staff at SEMO had offered me a scholarship, and I already had a good relationship with Coach Keith Pickens, who was here. He actually left to take a job at University of Texas Arlington this year. But knowing him and Coach Korn were here and knowing how close this was to a St. Louis hotbed of St. Louis is a hotbed of basketball.
Yep.
Cape's only an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Mm-hmm. Why are we not getting kids from St. Louis? Why are we not getting kids out of Memphis? I think a big thing has been recruiting with SEMO, and I feel like Coach Korn has been doing a really good job of that in the recruiting trail and getting some assistants in here who do a good job on the recruiting trail, and then just treating your guys right. And Coach Korn's always treated me real well. He's always trusted me, and I feel like that's another reason why I wanted to be here. I want to play for him. I want to be a Red Hawk. I want to put that 33 SEMO Red Hawk jersey on for this upcoming year. I'm so excited for these games to start and just have a little bit more opportunity this year. It's really exciting.
Absolutely. And another question for me, and then I'm going to let you ask some questions, of course. But I asked the same thing to Paxton about what Coach Tuke was like during that during that recruitment process. It was transfer for him. But what was his pitch like to you? I mean, it's a smaller school. Of course, everybody kind of strives for Mizzou or those big-time schools as far as SEC goes, Big Ten. But what was his pitch to you? Obviously, you're a talented player coming out of high school and just being a part of something that could possibly be bigger down the road.
Right. It was easy for me. He didn't have to recruit me that hard because I wanted to be here for sure. I feel like I made that call to him and was like, hey, listen, I want to be a SEMO Red Hawk. Take that as you want it. And he called me back the next day and was like, all right, let's get it done. But it was good that I already kind of knew him from Kansas State, like I said earlier. But I think he wants guys that want to be a SEMO as well, and that's another big thing. Like he'll recruit you, but if you try to big time him, act like I don't know. If you look at SEMO, he wants guys who wants to be a SEMO, and I understand that. I relate to that, and obviously I want to be here, and I feel like this whole squad really wanted to be a SEMO, and just take advantage of it. It's a players program. Coach Korn says all the time he likes to put the players first. And he's been doing big things for us. He's always fighting for us off the court, trying to get us more food, more whatever. If it's our stipend, whatever, he's always on the player side, and that's one thing Coach Korn's always really good about.
It's building that good culture, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And my question was actually going to be exactly about culture. You talked about how Coach Korn loves you guys, and it seems like every coach and team has a really good relationship. What is the relationship that you guys have with Coach Korn? And you kind of talked about it briefly. And what is the culture that he's instilled with you guys as a SEMO basketball team?
Right. His culture that he's building has been great. He has his 5 pillars. I'm trying to get them all 5. I know he's gonna give me a hard time if I don't know him. I've been here a long time.
We'll
I should know.
just edit together, make it seem like you said it real fast. If you want
Okay,
to.
it's I know accountability, thankfulness, character. Man, he's gonna give me a hard time. Those are 3 of them. There's 2 more. I think it might be like respect. I don't know. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, Coach Korn, he's a great person at the end of the day. And in college basketball, sometimes coaches don't always treat players kind of as people. They see him as, okay, I need this guy to come in here and produce and do what he's supposed to do, or else I lose my job. And it's pressure on as a coach, you feel. But I think Coach Korn does a good job of actually treating us as people, worrying about some of the outside influences that could be affecting maybe us to play worse or maybe us to have a short temper that day. I feel like he's always considering those things, and he's really good at coaching life too, not just basketball.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And one thing that I'm curious about, because, again, had those great memories with, of course, Coach Korn and the rest of the team last year. We talked about it a little bit during our game time video over there, but what for you, what is one, other than obviously the obvious, which is that game-winning overtime win for the OVC Championship last year, what are your favorite memories so far? I know you still got some time left at SEMO. You talked about earlier they might graduate this year, but just looking back, what are your best memories so far, on and off the court?
Looking back, man, I think, honestly, some of the best times are just traveling on the road, having fun, talking on the bus, having team meal and stuff like that, just cracking jokes. And we have a good relationship with our coaches, like I said. We get to joke around with them a little bit off the court. When we're on the court, it's business. Mm-hmm. But we do have that good relationship, so we can joke around with them off the court and stuff, have some fun. It's not always this. He's not like a drill sergeant, not like a, super strict. He looks kind of, I feel like he gives the image off. People look at him like, oh, Coach Korn seems a little scary and strict. Yes, he is when he needs to be, but he's also, we get our laughs and jokes in, and it's a good time.
No, we talk about that just from the media side, me being like 5'10" and small, bro, just like.
He's massive. He's a massive individual.
Talking to him even at the exhibition game, I think I posted that out, but I'm just like down here, I'm like holding the mic up to his head, trying to get any audio coming from him, but it's like daunting interviewing him, but then you talk to him, he's like the nicest guy, gives the best answers, and obviously great for the team, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you look at the record with Coach Korn, they've only improved every year. Like you said, the seed for SEMO and the preseason rankings going up every single year. What is it about Coach Korn that makes him such a good coach, and the way he's improved the team so much? Is it his IQ, the way he approaches it, or just like the relationship that he has with you guys just playing into the game?
Or all of the above.
Or all of the above, yeah.
Yeah, and a funny thing, I feel like I've seen Coach Korn grow a lot as well. Obviously, I've gotten a lot better as a player since I've gotten here, my freshman year, but I've seen him come a long way as a coach too. So that's been kind of cool for me just to be here for the 4 years. Like the first year, I would kind of make fun of him a little bit. Sometimes he'd get the clipboard in his hand, and it would take him a little bit to now he's very calm, cool, and collected, and I feel like he's definitely learned a lot and came a long way. And we've grown together, and that's been a cool experience to have. And really just I feel like another thing, I touched on it earlier, was he puts his players first. Mm-hmm. And as a player, knowing that your coach really cares about you, it's a great motivator. And we're gonna play 100% play as hard as we can for him every time. So I think that's another thing. He brings the effort out of us. He's a good motivator for sure.
That's all you can ask from a coach. I mean, shoot.
Yeah, I mean, we got some big things expected from, of course, you and the rest of the team and Coach Korn coming into this next season with what we did last year. What are your personal expectations for the season, both for yourself and for the rest of the team?
Right, I got big expectations. I try not to put too much pressure on myself. I feel like that's one of the things earlier in the year last year. I was getting frustrated with myself a little bit. I try to just do the work, put the work in, and let it take care of itself. But this summer, I've been working really hard with Coach Strom, our strength and conditioning coach. I want to give him a huge shout out. I think he's been a big factor in our program being better as well. I think that's a position where people kind of take for granted or don't really think matters as much sometimes. But Coach Strom gets to spend a lot of time with us in the summer, building our bodies up, getting us jumping, sprinting, getting us ready so we're not injured during the season and stuff like that. He's been big for us. And going into the season, I try not to worry about too much of all conference. And I talked to him earlier during the video game stuff. I really just want to focus on winning. We focus on winning. Everything else takes care of itself. The guys who get the postseason awards are always on the best team.
Absolutely.
We were mad that some of the Moorhead guys got some of the awards last year, but I'm like, you can't argue with winning. You just can't.
Yep.
Whoever's the best team, they're probably going to get the awards. So win games, and you don't have any excuses.
Y'all won the most important thing, in my opinion.
That is true.
Y'all
That
would
is true.
agree.
That is true.
Well, one of my favorite questions to ask more advanced guys in the program and seniors and stuff like that is who, for you, especially now with the transfer portal, who for you is maybe an unexpected breakout player coming in this year?
I think an unexpected breakout player, TJ Beal. That's going to be my guy. I feel like TJ is kind of a more quiet guy. He kind of flies under the radar. He's not really super loud, but I think he's going to be big time for us. I think he's going to be kind of like a Swiss Army knife guy where he can do a lot of different things. He can stretch the floor and shoot threes, rebound, and he can still dribble, pass, and do everything like a guard in a sense, being 6'8", 6'7", whatever he is. So I think he's going to be good for us this year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You are a student here at SEMO, obviously, and working on maybe graduating next year like we talked about. How is it being a student and an athlete? How is it to balance those two lives, especially on a competitive great team like the SEMO basketball team?
Yeah, it can be hard to prioritize and make sure you're getting all your schoolwork done, and especially once we get into the season when we start traveling, that's when stuff gets really hectic. You really got to be on your schoolwork, and I want to give a shout out to Miss Brooke Hankst. She's our academic advisor, and she does a really good job of scheduling with us and reminding us when we have stuff due, or she's always checking in with us, see if we need help. But it's pretty much just get your schoolwork done early in the morning, go to practice, and then the rest of the day is yours. That's how I like to do it. I like to wake up and get my school stuff out of the way. I like to have my classes earlier in the morning and then be done with my day after practice. So it's hard to keep in mind. Yes, I'm a student first, but you really got to prioritize it and realize the opportunity you have, and you can't waste it.
Was there possibly ever, an email saying, hey, I'm in March Madness, or hey, I just won the OVC, can I get maybe some time off, or can I maybe get this homework delayed a little bit, or something like that? Maybe something like that?
Yeah, I definitely had to use an excuse every once in a while, but I try not to. I try to just be transparent with my teachers and just be upfront with them and let them know earlier when I have things.
Yeah.
It's worse coming on the back end, hey, listen, I have this and this and this, whereas if you go to them maybe a couple of days before, they'd be more likely to work with you. But all of our professors are really they're really mindful of that kind of stuff, and they're reasonable with it. As long as you come to them and with not in a crazy, stupid lie or a last minute, it's a 100-point assignment, it's a big assignment, you didn't do it. They work with you, but they're mindful of it. But we also just have to prioritize that and look ahead, really just work and look ahead and be planning ahead.
What's your major, by the way?
I just switched my majors last minute. I was in education for a while,
Gotcha.
but it would have been really hard for me to student teach and play during the same time, and we would have to push practice back a little bit and all that. It was gonna be too hard, so I just changed to a social science degree.
Would have been cool for them kids, though. Shoot.
Yeah, I did get to work with. I was at Perryville last year for the second semester, so that was cool. I got to interact with some kids, and I definitely have seen a couple of them at the game where we still have that relationship, so it's been pretty cool.
That was one thing I'm just remembering now. Brady said in the last interview we had with them that you guys were extremely good about just being super cool with the fans, especially the youth and stuff like that, just going out to events, stuff like that, and just supporting the community and stuff like that. How big of an emphasis is that for you as one of the biggest leaders on the team right now?
Yeah, I feel like it really shows during like the weeks we have like camp and the elite camp with the high school kids, and then we have our younger camp for our elementary and middle school guys. And I really do agree that all of our guys are really good about that, at really just getting out there and being outgoing and being welcoming too. But we want as many people as we can get in the Show Me Center. So when you can build those relationships with people, I feel like that's what helps bring them back. Obviously, they want to watch you and see you on the court, but if you interact with somebody, have a conversation with somebody, and they make you feel some type of way, they make you feel like good, you're going to remember that. You're going to remember that. You're going to want that again. You're going to come back and hopefully want to see more games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we never underestimate the home field advantage. I mean, we have some of the best fans, the rowdy crowd, as we call them, and they're always at the games cheering y'all on. How much of an impact is it to play at home? I mean, I'm sure it goes without saying that it probably is a lot.
Definitely. I've even heard other guys in the conference kind of talk about, oh, we got to go to Cape. Like, we're going to have to deal with that guy that sits front row. Shout out to Matt Brucker.
I'll put a video in of him real quick. Just
shout out to Matt Big Dog Brucker. He's kind of our super fan, but we got a bunch of fans that are really, really like diligent about coming to every game and being there to support us. So huge shout out to you guys. Huge shout out to Matt. But I think it's always a good time hearing him heckle some players and give them a hard time while they're at the free throw line. Or
he's good at it.
He's very good at it. Yeah. And it's always good to hear the Show Me go crazy when we hit a big three or get a big dunk. It's always good energy in there.
Absolutely, man. Well, shoot, do you want to get into some other topics? I mean, you're more than welcome to join us for that.
I'm down.
Let's do it, man. I mean, I'll start off with the NBA real quick. Haven't done a season preview quite yet. What's your team, by the way? What's your team?
Man, I don't.
If you don't got a team, it's cool. Celtics, Jason Tatum. You were talking about that a little bit earlier.
I'm gonna ride with my boy Jason, St. Louis guy.
I think they're gonna have a good year this year. We're talking about their recent trade accusations and how acquisitions. Sorry, I shouldn't say accusations. But yeah, I think they're gonna have a good year. I think they're gonna have a really good year. But what do you think, Meadow?
The Celtics are always dominant going in. I mean, you can never doubt them, especially with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, seeming to have a little more cohesion than they have in previous years. The team that I think is going to be probably, and I'm sure everyone's been talking about them, every big media corporation, is the Milwaukee Bucks. If you look at the Dame and Giannis pairing, I know they lost Drew Holiday, and we'll talk about that in a second, but to me, there's not a more complete team because Giannis is like the most complete player in the whole league.
Suns. I think the Suns are just as complete, if not even more complete, in my opinion. I think they're going to have a great year. I mean, with the curse of Chris Paul gone, I think they're going to be fine. I think they might even win it all this year. I got KD on that team. Can never count him out. I think he's going to have a really, really good year this year. I think if they win this year, too, I think he's done. I think he's going to retire, in my opinion. I mean, he might surprise me, or they might just be absolutely terrible this year. Who knows? But I think for me, it's the Suns, it's the Mavericks, it's the Celtics, and I agree with you, the Bucks. And, of course, you can't ever have the reigning champs out of that conversation as well. I think it's kind of funny. Jokic kind of seems like he hates his job as well. I mean, look at you. You obviously love your job. What do you think of that, real quick?
Yeah, Jokic is interesting, man. I think being that big kind of like makes him a little bit of an outlier, but he makes it appear as he may not love basketball the same way that some of the guys in the NBA does, but he understands that it's his job. Obviously, he's going to get his work in and then go do his hobbies or whatever, but it is a little weird. I'm not going to lie. Coming from, like, in America, I also feel like it's a little bit different. Like, the basketball culture here is just so strong, and, like, people are wanting to be outside hooping at the park all the time. People are going to be playing pickup no matter what. There's always going to be people in the gym hooping somewhere. You can find a game somewhere. And I think that has a little bit to do with it as well.
So, real quick, though, talking about teams that we think are going to win it all this year. I mean, you're a Celtics fan. I know there's a little bias there. Celtics fan are pretty diehard when it comes to that, but are they your pick this year to win it all, or do you have anybody else in mind? Or
yeah, if I had to bet my money on it, I don't gamble, I don't do none of
that.
He
doesn't gamble. He doesn't gamble on all the cameras. Don't want to get in trouble for the video.
If I had to, if I would pick with my head and not my heart, it would still be the Celtics.
Yeah, I don't gamble either, but shoot.
Yeah, of course.
I might gamble a little.
It just makes the most sense to me. I feel like Drew Holiday is a big pickup for them, especially what he does on the defensive side of the ball. That's big time. I don't think people realize the impact, but he kind of brings a similar what Marcus Smart had, but I feel like Drew's a little bit better on the offensive side of things. So it'll be interesting, especially with Kristaps too. I'm not super high on Kristaps, but I think
fell off.
I think he can. But he had some good stats with the Wizards. I feel like as long as he can stay healthy. If Kristaps can stay healthy, I like Kristaps. It's just that's pretty much the biggest thing with me with him and his injuries. But he spaces the floor well. He gives him a little bit different look than Robert Williams. He still can block shots and guard the rim, but the spacing is going to be better. So Jaylen Brown and Jason can really drive it, and Derek White and those guys can really have lanes to ISO and stuff.
Absolutely. And you know what? Speaking of Chris Paul earlier, it's going to be interesting to see what the Warriors do with him at all. It's going to be weird.
Yeah. Whether they rotate him in as a point guard or keep him as a shooting guard or move Curry to a shooting guard, I think it'll be a very interesting.
I think Curry has to stay at the point. I think they're going to put him at shooting guard. Maybe I don't know because Steph has been getting hurt every single year. It feels like so they might move him out of point. I'm not really sure, but.
Yeah, it might honestly be a good pickup for them in case Steph does get hurt again. But he seems to be doing better with injuries in recent history, so who knows? We'll see.
Absolutely, man. Well, shoot, moving on. You want to talk about some other stuff as well? Might as well. I mean, we got NFL. This is my thing, man. I love the NFL. I follow that die hard. I know you were saying you just like to kind of watch games, and obviously you're a basketball guy.
I'll have my 2 cents when needed.
Personally, well, I'm curious to see what you feel about this, man. I'm a Jets fan. I'm a Jets fan. New York Jets fan. I mean, I get a lot of slack for this. A lot of people kind of crushed me a little bit on this one, but we look good this year. We're 3-3. Zachary Capono-Wilson, the Storm and Mormon, other nicknames which I will not say for because we're a school publication, but it's all good. Looking good. I mean, maybe not the Jets, but we're talking about your team, stuff like that. Who are you looking at the most? I mean, probably the Chiefs, if I were to guess.
Yeah, Chiefs are close. Obviously, I was a big Rams fan growing up, so I kind of stuck with them when they went to L.A.
I couldn't do it.
Lately, man, it's been frustrating. I watch football, but I don't really get into it too much as far as like having a team or nothing. I kind of just watch it from a very objective, like, yeah, this is fun to watch, but I'm not really rooting for nobody. I do have a fantasy football team, and I got Travis Kelce on there. He's kind of like my standby. He's my only guy that's been good for me all year. So
I'm just saying, you're talking about graduation. We do have a fantasy football league here. Jan's in it. I know you're cool with Jan, so if you're interested next year, if you're still here,
might have to join up.
Feel free, man.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Talking about the Chiefs a little bit, they actually looked like the Kansas City Chiefs, just absolutely dominating the LA Chargers on Sunday. Mahomes throwing for 4 touchdowns, 424 yards. Kelce catching 1 touchdown, going for 179 yards. I mean, they are looking phenomenal
That's
right
just because
now.
of Taylor Swift. That's the only reason he's playing like that. I mean, I don't really get it. I mean, I know there's a lot of Swifties out there. I don't really see all the hype with it. She can sing and stuff. That's dope. But at the same time, like, I don't know why he's balling out like that. Shoot. But it's
This
making
ain't
me
nothing
upset.
new. Travis Kelce.
Every single year.
He's
Shout
true to
out.
this, not new to this.
That's true, man. Shout out to Jan real quick, but I can't stand the Chiefs. I can't stand them, bro. They are my least favorite team. Beto's a Chiefs fan. We have to talk about it every single week. He gets on my nerves with it. I don't show it that much, but, dude, again, coming from a poverty team like the Jets, and I was a Rams fan, too. I was baptized in a Rams jersey, but after Kroenke screwed us like that, I couldn't be a fan no more. Moving to L.A. like that for the money.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
What were you thinking when Aaron Rodgers went down with that injury?
Real talk here? I cried. There was tears. There was actual tears.
I was there.
Yeah. No, I went off into the. We were here. We were actually here watching that. We're having a little watch party. I went into the corner and I didn't. Maybe I wasn't crying that hard, but I was like, I can't even speak right now. I was lost for words, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised because heavens, no matter what, we get screwed, bro. I don't understand it, but that's just me. You're gonna have me going on a tangent here in a minute if I don't shut up. But yeah.
The Jets do have a favorable matchup this week, though, with the Giants. I mean, with Daniel Jones hurt and Saquon still playing injured a little bit, I think it's going to be an easy walk through with the Jets, especially with how sharp their defense been lately.
They just beat the Bills, though. They're scaring me, bro. I mean, the Jets are always going to jet it up. And I hope we win. I hope we keep on looking good. Zach keeps on playing well. We might win that game. I think it is a favorable matchup for us. But, again, the Jets can always jet. You know what I'm saying?
You did mention the Bills, and the Bills actually lost to the Patriots this weekend. There were 2 upsets that I thought about a lot coming up for this program. It was the Bills losing to the Patriots and the 49ers losing to the Vikings. 2 teams that very, very solid every single year, Super Bowl favorites. But this week they just choked, and I'm not really sure if it's a midseason slump for especially the 49ers losing 2 games straight, Brock Purdy throwing 4 picks. I'm not really sure what's going on with them, but it's going to be interesting to see how they can adjust, especially going into next week.
Yeah, are you a Niners fan at all? Maybe
Can't say that I am.
Maybe watch them at all a little bit like that. Maybe not.
I've watched a couple 49ers games this year. Marquez Bell, one of our freshmen, his older brother Ronnie is a wide receiver for the 49ers, so I am a fan. I have to say I am a fan.
Wow.
That's actually sick. I bet you guys have some pretty cool connections like that as far as playing with guys who might go to the league or something like that. I mean, we talked to Paxton. We talked to other guys on the football team. Everybody thinks that Ryan's going to go to the league. It was really cool talking to him. But, yeah, man, that must be pretty cool.
Speaking of Paxton, I mean, bad news.
Yeah, bad news. I mean, I guess we can segue into that real smooth like that, Beto. But it's looking like he's not going to be back. Just as, like, also an athlete for SEMO. What is that like for you? I mean, obviously, huge guy for the team, huge leader for the team. Just seeing a guy go down like that, what do you think that locker room's feeling right now? Because being at that game, as soon as he went down, the vibe it was crushed.
Even though we were winning that game, we won that game.
28-3. But what is that like for you, just being on a team, dealing with guys getting injuries? Of course, you guys had your fair share of that last year with the Quan going down and other guys as well. But what do you think they're feeling right now?
It's hard, man. Injuries are one of the worst things we deal with as athletes. It's something that a lot of times it can be out of your control, and we really just gotta like put trust in God and control the controllables. That's what I always try to say. That's a good method to go by with injuries. You got to control what you can control. You take preventative measures and stuff, but sometimes it's not always. Freak accidents happen. Like injuries happen. It's a part of sports. And it's one thing that does suck as an athlete. That's like all you want to do is play your sport, train for your sport. That's what you love to do. That's what you want to do. But it can be frustrating. It can be some dark times when you're not out there on the court or on the field. But from a team standpoint, I feel like it's next guy up. You got to have that next guy up mentality, especially as a college team. I feel like there's dudes who sit on a bench and don't get a chance their whole college career. So our backup QB's got to be ready to go. And I feel like as a team, I feel like we just can't show no vulnerability. We had a game last year. I think it was Purdue-Fort Wayne where we found out Phil was kind of not going to play last second. And I feel like it kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. But that was also a lesson to learn from. Like, it's next guy up. We still got a team full of fully talented players that can get the job done, so let's get it done.
Absolutely. And, like, in the words of Coach Tuke, Patrick's dog, he didn't say it was a dog, but he says it's a dude. I'll switch it up a little bit, call him a dog. I mean, he is. Big guy, kind of. I think the playbook's going to change a whole lot as far as our offense goes. Way more mobile than Paxton. Paxton was a pretty mobile guy at quarterback, but I would say probably a superior pocket passer to Patrick. Not saying Patrick isn't a good pocket passer.
They each have their own strengths.
They each have their own strengths. So I think there's going to be a big difference as far as the offensive playbook goes. I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm glad that we're not going up against UT Martin this weekend, though. We have a week to kind of figure it out. If we lose this game, I don't think we will. I think this is a very winnable game for us, but I feel like this game, you're going to see it sort of look like a game to figure things out. I don't know if you guys have had that in basketball. I know you guys have a lot more games and obviously stuff like that, but I know in football you get 1 week. You get 1 week, and that could make or break your season if you're going up against a certain team. But, yeah.
Yeah, and just looking at the stats from last week, Patrick threw 179 yards and a touchdown in the rest of the game whenever he went in for Paxton. And so there's a lot of hope there. It's nothing really crazy to worry about, especially with our receiving core of Ryan Flournoy, Demarie Vick, just being absolute animals whenever they take the field.
And we're still tied for first in the OVC.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
a lot to look forward to.
Very much in it. But I guess, just going back to you, Dylan, I mean, I feel like for this year for us, it kind of felt like where you guys were last year, where we have all the seniors, we have all the guys coming back, we have a great team around us, and it might be our year to do something special. And just seeing our lead guy go down, it's kind of heartbreaking to see, you know. But
it's definitely heartbreaking to see, but I feel like they'll finish the season strong even without Pax, and it'll be fun to watch.
Absolutely, man. Well, then last up, we want to announce one thing because you said you're kind of a UFC fan. We weren't gonna add this in at first, but big news: John Jones going down. Devastating to see. Yeah, right. It was his pec, correct?
Torn pectoral muscle.
Yeah, torn pectoral muscle. Huge for that card. I was really excited to see that. Some are saying that it's the end for him. Some are saying he faked the injury to get out of USADA so he can just juice up on roids again, which I think that could be true. Who knows? I mean,
it is John Jones.
Doesn't have to hide under octagons anymore, but I know you're kind of a UFC fan. What does it mean for you? I mean, huge name in the UFC. I'm kind of interested to know what your knowledge on the sport is.
Yeah, I was really excited to see John Jones actually get back in the ring and fight. You know, he's a real bad man. Like, watched him whoop some dudes for a long time, and then he kind of just segued, fell at face of the earth for a little bit.
Yep.
And did his own thing for a while. And he was still kind of a young age where he could have been in the ring. So it's like, well, I want to see more. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I know this guy's got more in the tank. I'm trying to see him fight some other people. So
absolutely.
It stunk when I saw that. I opened my phone this morning, actually, and that was one of the first things I saw on my ESPN feed was John Jones down with the torn pec. I was like, dang, I don't get to watch that one anymore.
Yeah, man, that's kind of how we all feel. But kind of sucks for us. I mean, replacing the card, though, pretty good fight there, man.
Yeah, Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. These guys, absolute killers. Their average fight time in the cage is somewhere around 2 minutes for each of them. Average fight time. And so this fight's going to end in a finish. They're going to go out there. They're going to stand and just swing at each other for the interim heavyweight title now, which means probably one of them is going to fight John Jones when he comes back. I think they're trying to rebook him and Stipe for later down the road. But honestly, like you said, it might be time for him to retire. It might be time for both him and Stipe to retire. So.
I just can't wait to see roided up John Jones come back. It's going to be absolute domination. But that's all I have for this episode, man.
Yeah, I'm all good here.
Thank you so much, man, for coming on today. Really appreciate it. Got 2 episodes in today. I mean, that's a lot of time with us. I hope you don't hate us too much now.
Nah, man, appreciate you guys. Nah.
But I'm Blake Showalter.
And I'm Beto Vacadillas.
Make sure to follow us on Target Arrow on all social media platforms, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel down below. Again, thank you, Dylan. Make sure to follow him on Instagram as well at DB33. He's going to be posting stuff and all this content this year. He even talked about maybe doing a podcast, so maybe he's going to shout that one out. Maybe down the line.
You never know.
Not going to press you too hard on that one until it comes out, but shoot. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.